I really want to help you today. Specifically, I want to give you some help around branding strategy. You see, it's really easy to get bogged down fast with all of the complicated terminology when you're on yet another faceless agency website. As a business owner who is on a tight schedule, you want to know fast if brand strategy is actually going to solve the current problems that you have in your business. Let's figure this out right now together. Now these are we're rewriting and we're recording on the fly today. It could be decisions around who, how, what, where, not where. Get it right. I'm gonna have a drink of water and I'm gonna have a word with myself, and then I'm gonna get this bit right, come hell or high water. I've compressed everything down here today into 5 clear to understand signs. These have been neatly organised into episode chapters for you, so please do feel free to skip forward and back and forward again as you see fit for the problems you know you have right now in your business. A quick lingo check. To make it easy to follow along with me when it comes to lingo issues, I've made this diagram. Your brand strategy is the important stuff that ought to come before you send that DM to your graphic designer or hire in a brand photographer. As a brand photographer for the last 9 years, I've come up against countless bookings where this integral piece of the puzzle is missing. Now, over the years, I've learned on the job how to cobble together this vital work that any creative you hire needs to inform the brief of their specific work. This is the same for any good quality creative supplier. So this could be a web designer, a graphic designer, a sound expert, a photographer, or a videographer. The list goes on and on. But you can see how this creates a really disjointed and misaligned brand when you don't have this in place before you start booking these people. Your brand is your name. This is often defined as a logo or with a symbol used to define and summarize everything you do, and most importantly, why you do it. Your branding is how you proactively manage how you are perceived, intent behind how you curate the deeper meaning of your service or your product. Your brand strategy defines that intent of your branding and then subsequently your brand. This is always based on very clear factual research and a lot of logic that you use to inform the curation we just talked about when I was going into the definition of branding in a little bit more detail. So you can see from those definitions that when you have brand strategy in place, you have a marked difference. So you're no longer going to be a business or a brand that operates in a whimsical, seasonal, or knee-jerk reaction way. Or the very worst, just copying what everyone else in your industry does. Doing things this way round takes you from being a reactive brand to being a proactive brand who's filled with their own innovation. And as you can imagine, this has a hugely positive effect on the way that your business and your brand are perceived. This could be with the way that your audience growth accelerates. It could be to do with how your sales increase. And you're probably going to see a marked difference in all of the other traditional metrics and analytics and numbers that you're observing on a monthly basis when you're a business owner who has their finger on the ball. If you're subscribed to the show, which of course you should be, by the way, you will have been following along with me as I gradually make it more and more clear about how I've developed my branding strategy services as their own standalone service that can be used as well as or completely separately from my brand photography work. And this can be done in a completely virtual way. A few weeks ago, we looked at the nitty-gritty of what's involved in a good brand audit. Now, if you're watching this episode and you're thinking, yeah, I don't really know what's going on with my brand, I probably need to set some time aside and get into it and figure out which bits are working and which bits are broken, then I wholeheartedly recommend you go and take a look at that episode, because that's where we go into a lot more detail on that. However, if you want to stick around with me right now, of course, as always, I'll put a link to that below in the show notes so you can take a look at that next when we're done here today. Misalignment. Misalignment can show up in lots of different ways for business owners, but all of them indicate that you have some key pieces missing from the way that you've devised your branding strategy. Let's think for a minute together then about the decision making that goes on inside your business. These are the big decisions that you make on a daily basis as a business owner that aren't really public knowledge. It could be about how you're going to do something, or thinking about when is the right time to do it, who's going to be involved if you go ahead with this big decision, what it exactly involves, and probably most importantly, why you've decided that this decision is the top priority in your business today. These are the kinds of things I'm talking about. If you've just imagined yourself in that decision-making process as a busy business owner and it's filled you with a little bit of stress, or you know it's something that you kind of hit a wall on a regular basis, it's a daily struggle for you, then this could be a really good indicator that you have some misalignment going on, particularly with your branding strategy. When you have really good brand strategy backing up every single thing you do and every single decision you need to make, making daily choices like this feels like a frictionless joy. And who doesn't love that? External misalignment issues can start popping up when you're in a period of hiring fast, you're building your team fast and you're adding more and more members into your team. It can also involve distributors. So if you're a distribution-based business and you rely on distributors who are usually geographically located in different places to help you distribute the thing that you sell, they are affiliated in an official capacity with your brand. Solid brand strategy means you have a clear-cut set of principles and rules. This makes it really easy for you to explain exactly what your brand is about in depth. And having that will mean that you spend a lot less time being the annoying decision-making bottleneck in every department of your business. If you know you have a lot of fear about stepping away from the day-to-day minutiae decision making in your business, then this is a really good sign that you have some integral pieces missing from your brand strategy. Should that be blue or red? Eons of time can be wasted faffing around on these kinds of decisions, and this is an indicator that you don't have consistency rules in place for your brand. You could really be in a procrastination cycle here, and actually when I look you in the eye and I ask you why you haven't brought out that new service, why you haven't released that new product or really cool new thing in your business, you know it's because you're afraid about all of the decision making that's going to come out on the other side of that to execute this properly. If you feel like a large portion of your average day is spent answering endless questions from your different suppliers about how something should sound, how it should feel, how it should smell, or how it should look, then you are probably avoiding consistency decisions that need to be in place for your brand strategy. Remember this? I'm sharing an open call for some brand strategy case study clients. You might want to see how my search for 4 particular brand strategy case studies is going. You can find out more about that in this episode. And as always, I'll put a link to that below for you to watch at the end of this episode too. Maybe you're a great fit and you can snag an insane bargain on getting some of the issues we just identified in your business all straightened out once and for all. Yee-haw! Big fish, little fish. That was totally made 20 years ago. When you're a business owner, you have an emotional connection to your brand. It's really hard then to remove that clouded judgment when you start thinking about what your competitors are up to and why they might be doing it. Sometimes people even compare themselves to the wrong competitors. They think that they're on the same playing field as other people, and actually that's completely wrong. It's just bogus. Judgments like that are very rarely based on fact. So it's unsurprising that a lot of business owners find it extremely valuable to have somebody like me, a brand strategist, to go in and find out all of the stone cold facts about the competition for them. This really does give them a crystal clear view of what's going on in their industry. Then we usually use that information to work together and make some fact-based decisions about how we're going to evolve their brand strategy. And this helps them to affirm exactly what size fish they are in their metaphorical pond. Why don't they love me? It is so demoralizing when you get to this frame of mind as a business owner. If your customers don't really understand what it is you're offering, or they don't truly see the value in what you're offering, then there is a really good sign that your brand strategy needs attention. We want you to be inundated with the right customer inquiries. Now, these are inquiries from people who truly appreciate what you're all about. They feel like your brand speaks directly to them. They love how you've differentiated yourself from another option. It's not because there's no one out there who's ever gonna love your business the way that you want them to. It's just that the people who you want to serve don't understand it yet. When you figure this out, you can craft your brand in the right way, and you can rely on those die-hard superfan customers who will buy every single thing you have to sell forever and ever. Where's my spotlight? With all of the information out there about how important it is to have a personal brand, mixed up with the very clear information that the bigger your audience is online is directly proportional to the size of your income, it's no wonder that a lot of business owners out there today feel that all they need to do to hack their way to great success with their business brand is to find their spotlight. Let me tell you that public speaking and consistent content creation is absolutely not the fastest way to hack this. Trust me. It takes years and a lot of dedication to build up your own content. And it also takes a long time to hone your skills as a truly remarkable and memorable public speaker. The monetization part after this usually takes a bit more time after all that as well. Now, whilst you're working on this with a long-term strategy behind you, you can still make a brand-based spotlight for your business. And this is far more powerful when you're going for that immediate success. What's cool about this is that there is longevity involved, so this can have a really lasting impact on your business as well. Carefully mapping out exactly how you want to be recognizable, memorable, and then trusted can be done with the right brand strategy for your business. So if you are sick of trying to hack your way to 10,000 followers or subscribers, or you feel like you're endlessly pitching yourself as a keynote speaker, you're probably going to find reprioritizing these goals into a different timeline is the best way forward in creating a reliable income stream for your business. How it all comes together. To combat each of the signs and problems that we've identified together today, a good brand strategist will have a whole wealth of different types of tools that they can apply to help you fix your problems. And it's for this reason alone that it's pretty tricky to go out there with set packages or set price tags on the way that brand strategy is delivered. Everyone has different problems. That means different tools used in different ways to tackle your set of problems. Now, I do have an episode coming up on this in a little bit more detail in a few weeks' time. I'll link to that retrospectively below in the show notes for anyone who's watching this a few weeks after it first aired. If you enjoyed learning about the 5 signs you need brand strategy with me today, then you are absolutely gonna love these episodes up next. I'll see you next time. Mwah. Now, before you go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.